We are watching established power structures lose their grip. Across massive industries, the rigid structures designed to keep outsiders locked out are fracturing. Take the Philadelphia Eagles. They recently drafted a Nigerian defensive tackle named Uwar Bernard. He had never played a single down of organized football in his life, forcing a legacy franchise to sign him despite a completely blank resume. In global soccer, English club Brighton entirely ignored traditional scouting networks to sign an 18-year-old named Zadok straight out of Nigeria, proving that direct transitions once deemed impossible are becoming a standard. And in the fight game, the margin for error at the top has vanished. Seemingly untouchable kings like Alex Pereira and Ilya Taporia are losing their grip on the gold, knocked out by unpredictable wildcards in sudden upsets. These events share a common denominator. When organizations spend lifetimes building their status, they often become paralyzed by the fear of losing it. This complacency creates a critical opening for outsiders who operate with the distinct advantage of having absolutely nothing to lose. The old model relied on slow pipelines and asking permission from the people at the top. Today, that bureaucracy is a liability that agile outsiders can easily exploit. Outsiders are no longer submitting curated resumes. Instead, they use raw, undeniable metrics to force legacy organizations to throw out their own playbooks. This chart visualizes how that output breaks the system. At the Combine, Uwar Bernard's metrics were so staggering, a 4.63 40-yard dash and a nearly 11-foot broad jump at over 300 pounds, that scouts had to ignore his inexperience. Raw physical output became his entry ticket. African superstar Obafemi applied this exact same strategy to the WWE. Instead of waiting for a slow developmental pipeline, he showed up as a physical anomaly and immediately overshadowed the existing roster. When traditional systems glitch, raw capability forces a result the old rules can no longer ignore. Legacy paths to the top are quickly becoming obsolete. This disruption isn't just physical, it's driven by the psychological grit of the cornered fighter. The refusal to fold when facing overwhelming opposition from an entire industry apparatus. We saw this in the feud between Drake and Kendrick Lamar. Drake was targeted by a massive alliance of enemies trying to dismantle his legacy. Instead of folding under that pressure, he transformed the onslaught into a story of underdog survival. By fighting against the industry itself, he proved that a cornered fighter can leverage their precarious position to disrupt established power structures. This mindset scales all the way to global industry. For decades, a colonial economic script dictated that African nations were strictly meant to export raw materials, keeping them dependent on global gatekeepers. Aliko Dangote shattered that script by building a massive oil refinery on local soil in Nigeria. By building the infrastructure to refine oil domestically on a massive scale, he bypassed the traditional rules of global industry and secured macroeconomic independence. Dangote's move is the ultimate outsider playbook. He didn't wait for permission or ask for a seat at the established global table. He simply built an entirely new table. This rebellion is moving through sports as well. Underdog clubs like Wrexham are climbing the tiers by weaponizing pure narrative and community energy to catch traditional powerhouses off guard. The friction across these industries is a temporary gift. The ground is soft, because while a massive corporation takes months of meetings just to approve a simple change, an outsider can move with extreme agility. To capitalize, you have to form a phalanx, a tight, unbreakable circle of allies who understand execution. You cannot move fast if you are dragged down by dead weight or people who drain your focus. This agility is earned through sharp systems. While giants are slowed by bureaucracy, you can spot a shift and lock in an automated logic pipeline to execute immediately. By letting software handle the data and heavy lifting, you focus entirely on high-level strategic execution. As this data flow shows, global capital isn't drying up, it's just changing pockets. Money flows constantly toward whoever is bold enough to solve the friction created by the giant's hesitation. But this window of asymmetry will close. Eventually, legacy gatekeepers will rebuild their walls and make the entry fee high again. Drop your hesitation and ride the momentum while the ground is still soft, or get left in the ash.